Schiff stated the group would leak classified information, which was derogatory to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Whoa! Ranking member Schiff was particularly upset. Oh, Shifty, no. So you're going to commit treason? And upon receiving that information, this person insisted that the information must be shared with a foreign government. What the heck is that? Which foreign government? Adam Schiff in big trouble. We got this exclusive release from Just the News, which is this document, which is a redacted, unclassified memo that Kash Patel handed over to the media. And what's so damning about this is it implicates Schiff. Schiff, of course, is this guy who was in front of Congress leading the impeachment, saying stupid things like this during the impeachment hearings. Remember how excited they were about all this?
Some of my colleagues made the statement repeatedly that I've met with the whistleblower, that I know who the whistleblower is. It was false the first time they said it. It was false the second through 40th time they said it. It will be false the last time they say it.
All right, well, that's obviously not true. So here, Schiff was saying, I don't know who the whistleblower was, but now we know exactly who it was. We're putting the pieces together on this scam. And so Shifty is now busted. Here is what Just the News, John Solomon, is reporting, saying, a career intelligence officer who worked for Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee for more than a decade repeatedly warned the FBI in the beginning of 2017 that pencil neck Adam Schiff, then representative, he's now a senator now, because Californians love corrupt Democrats who will weaponize everything against their political opponents, had approved leaking information, classified information to smear Trump over a completely fake Russiagate scandal, according to a new bombshell memo that Kash released. Now, it is an FBI 302 interview report, and Just the News got it from, looks like the FBI or congressional sources, but a Democrat by party affiliation who described himself as a friend to both Schiff, now a California senator, and former Republican House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes, considered the leaking to be unethical, illegal, and treasonous. But they were told not to worry about it because Schiff believed he would be spared prosecution under speech and debate clause. Now, no publicly disclosed opinion from the AG or the Attorney General can be found making the determination as a matter of law, but they didn't want to pursue Schiff, and the reports are now out. Now, Schiff did not respond to a request for comment on any of this, and the question, of course, is where does this lead? Will he be prosecuted? And the answer is we certainly hope so. This is what Fox News was reporting on this, with a couple of clips from Stephen Miller and others.
Right. Lie after lie after lie that was told to the American people.
Schiff is in the Senate now, but in 2017, he served as the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. The FBI interviewed the whistleblower in 2023. The whistleblower is a Democrat who reportedly worked for the intelligence panel. The whistleblower reported Schiff's alleged behavior to the FBI 8 years ago.
Democrats in Congress and the leftist legacy media, they were co-conspirators. They continue to be co-conspirators.
Yep.
That's right.
They were the individuals that were engaged in warfare against our democracy. They were the danger. They are the danger to our democracy.
The whistleblower claims he attended a meeting where Schiff okayed the Trump leak. The FBI summary says the whistleblower claims that Schiff hoped the feds could use the information to indict the president. The whistleblower alleges that any leak of classified information would be illegal. Schiff faces a criminal investigation over alleged mortgage fraud in Maryland.
Yep.
Schiff's office has not responded to a request for comment. Harris?
Yeah, of course not, because what's he going to say? So the whistleblower has now released this document, or rather the FBI has. This is from an FD 302, so it's an FBI interview summary sheet. So they had a conversation and they're kind of writing a report about it. Here is what was now released. You can see the date of the entry here was 11/13/2019, and we got a bunch of things redacted. But what's interesting about this is you can throw it into AI, as Sean M. Davis did over on X, and it will spit out some information about who some of these people are. So here's the background. This person, date of birth, this location, was interviewed at this location, not your average Joe's, sounds like a nice place, in Virginia. After being advised of the identity of the interviewing agents and the nature of the interview, this person, whoever it is, provided the following information. Since leaving the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, this is the House Intelligence Committee that we always hear about, the HPSCI, this person, since leaving, has encountered various staffers at various times, but these encounters were not significant. The encounters were cordial. Almost all of the staffers who he worked with on the committee are still with the committee, except for this person who had left the committee before. Now, this person's successor on the committee was blank blank, this person, who has since left the position as well. And this person did not agree with a member on something, of course, which put him in a tough spot. So some background on what, tell me about this they're talking about. Now, this person, who is also another staffer for the committee, likely provided provided guidance and instruction to other staffers about media contact. In particular, they were not authorized to have such contact. Okay, so it's kind of like a hierarchy is being fleshed out. This guy was in charge of media relations. He says, don't have them. Now, this person did not know if blank received guidance or instruction about media contact. Okay, well, all right. So who was in charge of telling people not to talk to the media about classified information? Oh, that guy. All right, let's go talk to him. So we talked to him. Did you actually talk to this person about it while someone was someone? So while somebody was in this position, blank probably pushed back on this because he did not like this policy. So maybe he didn't tell the other dude not to talk to the media. It is possible blank was authorized to have media contact. And so the rules would specify whether media contact is authorized and who is authorized to have such contact. Okay. Like, it's a big committee. It's pretty important. They got a bunch of staffers there. The staffers are going to have to follow rules. You want to be on the committee? You agree to this employment contract? All right, you're going to do this, follow the media rules, check these regulations. Got it? Yep. Sign above. So if you're going to talk to the media, we've got a log about that. It's not just like, this is interesting. I feel like I'm going to call Taylor Lorenz. So you can't do that, right? It's all logged. It's the Select Intelligence Committee. It's pretty important. So then redacted, who is the committee somebody, likely has the non-disclosure agreements that were signed by the members and the staffers that say we're not going to talk to anybody. Now, she is an employee of the House of Representatives, not of a particular representative or a committee like the Intelligence Committee. It is possible that the blank or the FBI also have the NDAs since they maintain records of top secret or secured compartmented information access. Blank could instruct blank to grant access to classified information for a particular staffer. And so again, fleshing out the hierarchy, who runs what, how does the chain of command go? According to the ethics rules of the House of Representatives, there is to be no contact between current and former staffers for 1 year after the staffer leaves. Okay, so a little bit of separation here. You're gone. Stop texting each other. Stop going to lunch because they're still working on stuff and you need to go work on other things. You're done. You're cut off. These ethics rules allow for criminal prosecution, okay, if there's ethics violations, because these are national security matters. Remember, they told us how sensitive everything was, and that's why they had to raid the president's house. However, the House of Representatives must vote to forward the ethics violations back over to a prosecutor. So again, we're November 4th, 2019. We're a year out from the 2020 election. And here's a note. Blank person recounted information about potential unauthorized public disclosures of classified info, which he previously provided to the FBI back in 2017 and December 5th, 2017. So there were other disclosures that the FBI was sitting on. Okay, this is a second interview in 2019. He's like, oh yeah. And they put his like a little note here. He's also saying, hey, remember when I told you guys about this like twice before in August and December of 2017? You didn't do anything about it. He says, see this report and something and protect identity, date of birth, all the things is redacted. So this person who's redacted was interviewed at the Marriott St. Louis Grand Hotel located in Missouri by special agents identified there. After being advised of the identity of the agents and the nature of this interview, we're investigating crimes here or whatever they said. Do you want to talk to us? Sure. So this person had previously had a positive experience working with the FBI related to incidents in 2017 that occurred when blank worked on the United States Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. In this position, this person worked with senior political leaders from both major political parties, including Congressman Pencilneck Adam Schiff and Congressman Devin Nunes. Blank was friends with both Schiff and Nunes. Now, when working in this capacity, blank was called to an all-staff meeting by Shifty. In this meeting, Schiff stated the group would leak classified information, which was derogatory to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Whoa! Schiff stated that the information would be used to indict President Trump. Someone stated, hey, Pencil, that's illegal, you traitor. And upon hearing his concerns, unnamed members of the meeting reassured this conscientious objector that they would not be caught leaking this classified information. Indict them all, please. This is a coup accessing private, confidential, classified information. This is insane. And the FBI got notified about it. They're like, well, his speech and debate clause says blank was again approached about leaking classified information in a separate meeting by unnamed individuals. Blank believed this activity would be unethical and treasonous. Absolutely. Blank was concerned about the discussions and as a result reached out to contacts from his, assignment wherever, blank employment for guidance on where to report this experience. What do I do if one of the leaders on this committee is saying we're going to commit treason? What do I do? Can you tell me? These discussions led blank to contact the FBI when the FBI is like, oh, thanks for telling us. So we're just going to put this report right in the shredder. Never see that again. These discoveries led Blank to contact the FBI. Blank had several conversations with two unnamed FBI agents, probably, like remote workers or something. Yeah, it's the FBI. Are you sure? You sound like you're in India right now. No, it's the FBI, I swear. Agents related to the matter was eventually invited to attend a mock grand jury hearing with the DOJ. Wow, that's interesting. Eventually invited to attend a mock grand jury hearing. So it sounds like there was kind of an investigation that was percolating. They were saying, let's see if they'll buy this. Blank was advised not to bring his attorney to this meeting. However, Blank invited two FBI agents he worked with to attend this event where they're doing this little fake grand jury so they can work out, I guess, criminal charges. Yeah, now Blank was eventually informed that the issue would not be investigated further. Okay, so they're looking into it and it gets cut off. Congressmen have immunity. There it is. Wow, to all speech and actions made on the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives. He says, what are you talking about? This wasn't on the floor of the House of Representatives. This was in a private meeting. He did not believe that the activity he witnessed would be protected by this legal provision. This dude's like, no. But you know what happened, right? This ran up the chain and, getting wind on it, and they just cut it. They just killed the investigation completely. They're doing mock grand juries to say, okay, we're going to present this evidence. How does it sound? Grand jury, the mock grand jurors are like, great, we'd indict all day. That's obvious. And then they got cut off. Oh, nope. Shifty is immune. Now, that's obviously a cover up by the FBI, and there's a long pattern of this, like when the DOJ was warning Hunter Biden's lawyers about investigating him and more. They set up and created and exploited a whole Hillary Clinton plan. So here's some more details that are in this second document. This is an electronic communication record call with FBI special agent coming from the Washington field office, approved by a bunch of people, and it's about a sensitive investigative matter. And immediately, what is the synopsis of this? Well, it's to document a call with a special agent so-and-so on October 6, 2017. All right, so this looks like it might be the prior conversation that the whistleblower had. Okay, so he's now on his third attempt. He's already had two prior disclosures to them. So on October 6, 2017, Ryder, the FBI agent who's writing this, was contacted by Microsoft Link, which is their, instant messaging thing, by this person who is a supervisory special agent and an FBI liaison to the House Select Committee on Intelligence. And he volunteered the following information. He says, all right, guess what, guys? Earlier that day, this person had spoken with an unnamed Republican staffer for the Select Committee, the staffer, as they'll call him, who described the sudden firing of a minority staffer named Blank. The staffer told Blank that this person, who had worked for the committee for about 12 years and handled much of the technology used by the minority, was suddenly fired due to a perceived lack of party loyalty. The rationale sounded plausible to the staffer, and on Blank's last day, the staffer went to express his sympathy. Now, in response, the fired person probably told the staffer that he had been fired because there was an expectation of leaking classified documents and committing treason, and he wasn't going to do that. Shout out to this guy. And he refused to participate. So this person who was fired described a systematic process through which leaks were affected. The Republican staffer, right, this is the Democrat person who's now blowing the whistle in the prior document we read, the staffer did not press person who got fired for details. Now, according to the account given to this person, the staffer met with someone else for a drink later that evening. During that time, the person fired provided the same detailed description of the leaking process with Shifty. This person emphasized that this was not a one-time thing. Under the system established by Pencilneck probably and the others, notes would be run up to the ranking member, Adam Schiff, after which a decision was made as to who would leak the info. Blank alleged that this process remained in place under the minority staff director and succeeded by this person, though two other minority staffers, Blank and Blank, also refused to leak. So some people are like, it's your time. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to jail for you maniacs. According to this person, Blank operates a company called Redacted. Telephone number redacted, email address redacted, mailing address redacted. Now, the account provided above was documented by Ryder via typed notes taken in real time during the conversation with this person. Accordingly, there are no original handwritten notes. I was typing it into the computer as we were having the call. Now, on December 5th, 2017, special agents called this person and this person went and interviewed this one to protected identity, all redacted. The interviewing agents advised someone that this is a voluntary interview, and then this person signed a classified non-disclosure agreement saying, we'll give you some information, but you can't talk about it, and you give us information and then we can talk. So here's the background. Now, this person is a former staffer with the U.S. House of Representatives, the Select Intelligence Committee. Prior to joining them in 2005, Blank worked in the U.S. intelligence community for something, including time spent within there. Blank is a Democratic staffer and most recently worked under the minorities ranking member, Adam Schiff. As an intelligence advisor to the committee, Blank educated members and other staffers on technical collection methods and intelligence community functioning, and even assisted with authorization bills and drafting those, including this bill, the blank blank, and the blank blank. Now, though this person's role with the select committee did not generally include direct interaction with the news, he did occasionally sit in during interviews of committee members to ensure that no classified information was mistakenly divulged. Now, according to this person, the committee work environment started to change around August 2016. What was happening there? The U.S. presidential election was approaching. This person recalled a particular staff meeting in September 2016, which was led by then minority staff director so-and-so and staffer so-and-so. As this person and this person addressed the other minority staffers, they acknowledged that they had been in contact with unnamed journalists and provided on background their impressions of Russian activity surrounding the election. Blank understood their use of the term on background to mean that blank and blank had provided information to the media with the understanding it would be published, provided that there would be no reference to the source of the information. Okay, so leaking. Blank reminded them that, hey, you can't do that. Our policy prohibited staffers from even speaking to the media. You can't talk to them on background or otherwise. You have no permission according to the rules. Nevertheless, Blank noted that journalists would routinely call their offices and ask for staffers by name, right? You got all of, the Glenn Kirschners or whatever, all out there calling them, getting information. On one occasion, someone answered a call from Dan from NBC News, who specifically wanted to speak with this person or this person. Hey, I need my Schiff trader that I can speak to. Oh, sure. What extension? 305. Okay, that's good. Yeah. This upset so-and-so who told this person that no one was available to speak with him. No, we can't talk to you. Why are you calling from NBC News into Pencil Next Committee? Following the U.S. presidential election in November, the mood within the committee was indescribable, writes this FBI special agent. I bet. Said this person. Ranking member Schiff was particularly upset. Oh, Shifty. No. So you're going to commit treason? As he believed he would have been appointed the director of the CIA if Hillary Clinton had won the election. And he would have been perfect for the CIA because he's a partisan hack who hates America, loves power, and is willing to do anything to get it, even if he has to eliminate people. And Hillary's the same. So that's probably accurate. She probably would have. And Hillary was probably relying on him to do the dirty work of her campaign. And he was. Exactly, right? That was the trade-off. This is the same thing that happened with Brennan and Obama. Okay, a bunch of other people were a little bit more senior than John Brennan to go be the CIA director. They didn't pick Obama. They picked Hillary and they went other ways. So you just stick, you do the dirty work, you get promoted until Hillary lost. Now, the minority viewed the election and its aftermath as a constitutional crisis, okay? And again, this is November 2016. So these people are like broken records. It's like the boy who cried wolf over and over. They can't stop it. 2016, you have Pencil Neck Schiff and the Democrats calling Trump beating Hillary fair and square a constitutional crisis. Okay. And they said it again in 2020. Then they said it again in 2024. It's like, what isn't a constitutional crisis to you maniacs? Eternal power, as long as they have it. And by February 2017, this person stated that all hell broke loose. During a meeting on February 13th, 2017, so now Trump is sworn in, the 20th has come and gone, Blank instructed the staff that he wanted to drive the Russian involvement issue into a joint inquiry. We're going to go after Trump on this, and I want a 9/11 commission, and we're just going to hammer Trump on Russian involvement all day. To do so, this person instructed the staffers to use any sources they had developed in the intelligence community to gather information, which would then be made public through the media in order to compel public opinion. Democrat committee staffers abusing their position, creating a plot to impeach and to indict the president. According to this person, this was an explicit request to gather classified information for public disclosure. After the meeting, this person approached this person and asked this person to reach out to his contacts at this location in order to collect information on Michael Flynn's contact with Russia, probably CIA, NSA, DNI, some, three-letter agency. Blank tried to deflect the request by telling this person, no, they're not going to have it, okay? That information is going to be at the FBI. But this person said, well, that's okay. Just go to the CIA anyway, see what they have. And he said, okay, I'll give it a try. But he never actually tried to do it or tried to reach his contacts. So this person documented the meeting with his own notes and the next day sent himself an email detailing what had happened. And this person even provided the interviewing agents with copies of his notes and the email, okay? So this is not some like quack person who's talking to the FBI. The dude documented it in real time, wrote contemporaneous notes, and then timestamped it by emailing it to himself to say, this is my present impression of what literally just happened. And the FBI's like, focused on other things. Well, but Russia could have happened. So we'll just forget about this treason and go try to take out Trump. Around the time of the February 2017 meeting, Blank had assisted in drafting a request to this agency for materials about the quote, Russian involvement issue. In response, this agency made available to the committee over 1,000 documents, some of which were maintained at a read room at, FBI somewhere. According to so-and-so, the Blank's production of materials was facilitated, at least in part, by one person here. In spite of his involvement with drafting the request, this person advised that he did not want access to the requested documents. Later, in April, a read room was established at this facility in which these materials were made available to committee members and certain staff through this person, though this person again recused himself from viewing the materials. He's like, I'm not looking at those things. Within the minority staff, they created a Russia team. So the Democrats have a Russia team coming out. Within the minority staff, they initially consisted of this person, and this person. The team would visit something, view the materials, and review the materials probably, and then compose summaries on a standalone computer. Okay, so you can't take the documents with you, just go in there, remember a bunch of stuff, race out, type it down. This standalone computer, which was set up by the committee's network administrator, this guy, was situated in one of the back rooms of the office. Though the room itself was accessible to all staffers, the standalone computer was reserved only for the use of the Russia team. After the team would return from the read room and compose their notes, they would then brief other staffers, including this person, this person, this person, this person, and Pencil Neck's communication director, this person. This person was not included in those briefings though. Now, this person noted concerns that he had about various staffers who were briefed regarding the Russia matter. This person was brought to the committee by this person, and the two developed a very close relationship. Oh, gross. Often traveling together and meeting privately. Oh, it's like Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade. After so-and-so left the committee in the summer, this person acknowledged that the two stayed in contact and discussed matters. This person felt that this person functioned as someone's insider on the committee. On at least one occasion, someone warned that the committee rules prohibited us talking about official matters. But this continued correspondence was particularly alerting, given this person's previous concerns with this person. This person recalled a particular incident that occurred shortly after they joined the staff. In the aim of facilitating the transition, someone shared certain information with someone else concerning a sensitive intelligence matter for which the committee exercised oversight. And upon receiving that information, this person insisted that the information must be shared with a foreign government. What the heck is that? Which foreign government? Blank advised this information could not be shared and reported the incident to the committee. And they said, well, it's probably our friend of ours. So before someone left the committee, Blank overheard someone else tell other staffers on more than one occasion that he would use his spouse's phone to make the calls, which someone believed was a purposeful measure to conceal his activity so it's not backtraced to him. So his wife will end up in prison. What a great husband. Now, so-and-so was also uncomfortable with this person's involvement with the Russia briefings. Okay, so this person is like blowing the whistle saying they brought this other dude in, or gal, who's hanging out all the time and not qualified to be here. This person believed that she did not have the appropriate clearance to be briefed on the matter. And her desk was located just outside the back room in which briefings were held, so she could probably hear everything. Noted that Blank was always coming and going, and after one such briefing, heard Schiff ask whether Blank was, quote, on board. Okay, so this was Shifty's little birdie floating around, gathering materials on everybody. So-and-so believed that the other communications staff were upset with her because of his involvement with leaks to the press. In fact, they viewed him as the orchestrator of the leaks and even heard him remark that he was able to tell who provided certain pieces of information to the press. And so in or around April 2017, someone had become very uncomfortable with the rampant leaking. Having already raised the issue with this person, he contacted this person who previously served as the Inspector General. So that person put that person in touch with this other person who was the acting IG, which precipitated the meeting with the FBI. Now, around the same time, a particular leak caused this person to confront the committee on the issue. According to them, a particularly sensitive document made available by this person or this agency, viewed by a small contingent of the staff, as well as Schiff and Stinky Eric Swalwell, who made Bang Bang with Fang Fang and Chinese Spy. They saw the document as well. Within 24 hours, the information appeared in the news almost verbatim. Oh my gosh. And officials descended upon the offices, threatening to stop providing information until the leaking ended, right? This agency's pissed. They sent it over to them and it's all public now. Blank suspected that Swalwell, wow, we've been talking a lot about Shifty, but Eric Swalwell, you're busted too, buddy. Lawyer up. Played a role in the leak and noted that Swalwell previously had been warned to be careful because he had a reputation for leaking information anyways. The committee focused on Russia, this person remained isolated from all the Russia briefings, right? He was kicked out. So-and-so and so-and-so were also excluded from the meetings, and blank feared she might lose her job because they're like, we're not going to be a part of your treason. So this person was certain that Schiff was behind the meeting, during which this person instructed the staff to collect info from the intelligence community and make it public, okay? So we have a witness now who's ready to finger Schiff specifically. He considers Schiff a friend, asserting that it was Schiff's plan to release the classified information in order to compel public opinion. Schiff justified this as a response to the constitutional crisis. I know, everything's a constitutional crisis. We're all going to die unless they commit treason. Even the other committee members acknowledged Schiff's involvement. They all knew. This person cited a particular business meeting for which he was present along with Schiff and Jim Himes, Jackie Spire, Mike Quigley, and Joe Heck. In fact, Himes asked Schiff, "What is your strategy? Why are you going after Trump, pencil neck?" Schiff answered, he said, "Well, it's the right thing to do." But he acknowledged that there was not enough for impeachment, so they're going to make it up. He also questioned Schiff as to his strategy and reminded him that Democrats were better off running against Trump than Mike Pence. So this person provided various other insights into the minority staffers as well. At some point during the summer of 2017, this person was added to the staff and became part of the team that was briefed on Russia. And they noted that this person, and this person all believed their conduct was protected by the speech or debate clause. So treason's protected by that when you're committing it outside of Congress, so that you can speak inside Congress and not be prosecuted for it. And it's been expanded, but it's not for treason. It doesn't cover treason. I don't think that's been adjudicated in the Supreme Court yet. And so Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell can make their defenses in court, just like Trump had to do. And if they got to take it up to the Supreme Court, then they can, just like Trump had to do. Though this person tried to advise them otherwise. No, you're not protected, you lunatics. In addition to this comment about using his spouse's phone, someone else noted 3 cutouts through which classified information might be leaked to the press. So there are 3 communication chains. 1, they could relay information to this person. 2, they could divulge information to her husband, who's a reporter for the Baltimore Sun, who has worked with this person of the Washington Post, and we know who that is. And 3, through this person, and this person. Now, this person observed journalist so-and-so, and a story around here broke to confirm the final details, sometimes calling around 3:30 to 5 p.m. if the story was posting that evening. They had a whole assembly line. As such, blank believed that the call chain analysis would indicate the sources of the leaked material. Someone also advised, right, so this staffer is blowing, he's like, "No, yeah, I know how they leak it, so just backtrace those calls. It goes from this person to this person to this person to this person. Follow the bouncing ball, FBI. Can you handle that?" Apparently not. They just sat on this. Also advised that blank in particular liked to use the phrase "elections have consequences" and believed that articles including that phrase could be a reference to this person specifically. Also, this person felt of the staffers, so-and-so and so-and-so were the least experienced with intelligence matters, and someone suggested that this was the most likely to misstate information. And finally, they noted that this person had also functioned as the monitor while someone else was the someone else monitor. Okay, this person's monitoring CIA, this person's monitoring FBI, whatever. All of that piecing together who's behind it. Okay, so we've got the clear chain of command for the leaks, which is the criminal conveyance. They're all a part of the conspiracy. And our friend, as I mentioned at the start of this, Sean Davis, did some very interesting digging on this. He actually plugged this into Grok, and he asked Grok this question: which staffer who was on the select committee who worked at the committee under Adam Schiff, as the document says, has a spouse who worked at the Baltimore Sun and was later hired at the Washington Post? 2.5 minutes later, Grok says, "Oh, that's easy. It's Rain Workala." Wow, how about that? That's pretty incredible. The redactions just got obliterated. So we now know that this person was at least contemplated as being in the chain because they could leak it to her and then she could give it to her husband and then her husband could publish it. Or the husband could leak it to somebody else who would then publish it, right? Would be the thesis. Now, the backstory on who these people are, as we see, Sean Davis dug them up. Julianne Smith, of course, we know who she is. She was in the Durham Annex emails, where a lot of the media are reporting saying that those emails were fabricated. That's all fake news. They're real emails. They were just, you could say, compiled from various sources, and it seems like it was like handwritten intelligence notes, like somebody's writing the notes down off the screen. So it's not, a carbon copy of, they're like, what are the original emails? Like, well, that's not how the intelligence works, morons. So she was the one who was arguably in the chain of command receiving the messages that we talked about in the Durham Annex from Leonard Bernardo, who was saying that the Hillary campaign was seeding a Trump-Russia collusion narrative and that she was not going to be indicted because Obama was covering up for her. And Loretta Lynch was meeting with Bill Clinton on the tarmac for like 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, not great. So this woman here is Rhiannon Ann Workala, now she's managing partner over at Clarion Strategies, and so they're working together at Clarion Strategies, right? And then this dude, Ian Duncan, works over for the Washington Post now. Isn't it incredible? It's like one big happy family, perhaps alleged traitors. We'll see what their involvement was. The report continues, says Social Security account number, this person was interviewed at Bull Feathers Restaurant in DC. Wonder if it's any good. After being advised of the identity of the agents and executing another non-disclosure document, we talked. By way of background, around October 2016, elections right around the corner, so-and-so and so-and-so, a staff member, House Permanent Select Committee person, was told by various Select Committee staff colleagues, if Hillary Clinton were to win the election, Pencilneck Adam Schiff would be offered to be the director of the CIA, which would have just been maybe game over. I mean, that guy's such a maniac. A Schiff after a Brennan? Oh my gosh. As such, someone opined Schiff had reasons to support Clinton, right? Even before the election, beyond his political affiliation. So now we got a real conflict here. He wants that job, so he has to make sure that Hillary wins. At that time, normal partisan politics continued, but there was no significant problem in regards to leaking classified info. But things changed after the election, okay? They all freaked because Hillary was like 92% to win. Remember that, New York Times? We saw that little stupid chart go on to it's like Trump, stay home. He's not going to win. Hillary, 92%, 93%. All the Nate bronzes and silvers out there saying the same thing. And then Trump won. They all freaked out. They had to change the story. Things changed after the election. Schiff believed Russia hijacked it. Yeah, right. And the United States was in the middle of a constitutional crisis, constantly with them. Classified information began leaking immediately because they were trying to change the election, okay? And that's why Obama met with his intelligence people on 12/9. Is there anything we can do? Then they released the new report on 1/7 that explained Russia wanted Trump to win. All fake. The minority leadership was aware of the leaks, but was under the impression that leaking the information was the only way to topple the administration and fix the constitutional crisis, okay? Everybody involved in that should be investigated aggressively. I hope they are. The leaks were driven from the top. They were structured and intentional. The message conveyed to the staff was the U.S. was facing a constitutional crisis. Something needed to be done. While this person had no information indicating Schiff was directing the leaks, he opined Schiff was aware of it, that it was going on, and provided tacit approval. So that's great. So you just indict that person and you just say, well, Schiff is saying that you did it. So we're going to give you a smoke and plea deal, but you got to go and finger Schiff. On February 13, 2017, during a weekly staff meeting and later in the day at one of the committee's hotspots meeting, I don't know what that is, so-and-so and so-and-so advised the minority staff he wanted to drive the Russian involvement issue into a 9/11 style commission. He instructed the staff to use any sources they had to gather facts, stated, I want to make the info public and we're going to use the media to brainwash public opinion and bring about a joint inquiry. And by the way, it worked. Like, he is such a traitor in this regard because he was lying to the American people in order to brainwash them. And there was still a huge contingent of the Democratic Party that stole 2016. During the hotspots meeting, this person approached this person and asked someone to reach out to his friends at this agency and to find out what they have about Michael Flynn. Go target him with the Russians. Oh, make it up. Someone advised the information would reside with law enforcement and recommended someone to ask someone else about it. And someone did ask someone to give it a try. And then they said, yeah, I'll take a look at it. And then he just let it drop, right? Yeah, I'll look into it. And they never did. Someone never reached out to contacts at this one about Flynn. So he never did it. So then someone else reported his concerns about the meetings and private conversations with this person to the security director, this guy. He subsequently discussed all the leaks that appeared to come out of the committee with this person. Since having those conversations with these people, he has become marginalized on the staff, right? Blows the whistle about their crimes. They throw him out. When asked about the Flynn contacts, this person opined everything is directed at Trump. Okay, all we're trying to do is get him impeached and removed. Flynn just happened to be the issue of the day. He's just a stepping stone. He's collateral damage. It doesn't matter. Now, the committee personnel contacted the FBI, probably in the CIA, and requested the number of documents the agencies had related to Trump. The staff wanted to know how many of these documents were masked. They planned to request the unmasking of the individuals and then deal with them. Total maniacs, okay? Going after something to find a crime. Now, they put together a team of 3 people, the Russian team, to read the documents. The team and at times a representative went to the CIA and FBI, NSA, whatever, to review the documents. They were not allowed to take them. They would come back and brief them, just remember the notes and write notes as soon as they got out. The Russian team was comprised of this person, and this person, who hopefully all are indicted soon. This person, and this person, and this person were part of the broader team, which received others, and they can be indicted as well. This was a new hire subsequently joining the team. Unfortunately for the new guy, indicted. Now, Russian investigation on the committee is comprised of a review of a specific set of documents located here and here. The documents at this location are compartmentalized. The number of documents at this location is in the triple digits. Legal affairs is over here, here, and here, and here, all facilitated pulling the documents out. Now, these documents are kept in a room designated for congressional review, and a bigot list is kept of the individuals who review the documents. Now, Blank did not know who pulled those documents. So then other lawyers, this person and this person, requested the unmasking of the identities of U.S. persons in the documents. Incredible, right? So now, like, the masking is to protect them when they're gobbling up their secret communications. Then they go unmask them so they can indict them. Now, one document contained very specific reporting, and only 3 people, possibly 2 staff, this person and one House member called Eric Swalwell read it. That's it. The document was read right before the 4th of July recess, sometime late June to early July. Within 24 hours of reviewing the document, the information contained in the document was in the press, baby. Eric Stinky Swalwell. Subsequently, this person's disclosure went to the committee and read them the riot act about the disclosure. Like, so the FBI or the CIA said, you guys, it's in the news. We just gave it to you like yesterday. They went nuts. So then someone noted that Swalwell has been leaking a lot of information, and he's already been spoken to about being more careful. Then 6 weeks ago, the Russia team plus some other attorneys and other staff members held a meeting. Someone was told he did not need to attend. Blank opined that she, Blank, and someone else were being pushed out because they were not providing the leadership with what they wanted. You guys want us to leak? You want us to go dig up dirt? We're not going to do it. And so they kicked him out. Additionally, Blank opined he was seen as a threat because he would not put up with the leaking and has addressed the issue to security on many occasions. So over the past week or two, this person, Schiff's communications director, not a member of the Russian team, has been briefed on whatever the Russian team was learning from their classified document review. Okay, so they're looking at documents. She gets information about it that she's not supposed to have. According to this person, Blank does not hold a security clearance, but she's getting briefed on all the materials and giving it back to Pencil. Blank opined that the staff feels it is doing nothing wrong by leaking. Okay, they all think that they can commit treason because they're in the middle of a constitutional crisis. This is how they think and operate at a foundational level about many things. Okay, we have to rig the election rules because we have to save democracy. We have to impeach a president or indict a president 4 times because we have to save democracy. We have to throw the president off the ballot because we have to save democracy. We have to cancel him and a bunch of supporters off the internet because we have to save democracy. There's a crisis. It's COVID. Constantly. And they can commit treason in the name of that? Some feel they are protected under the speech and debate clause. He's told them it doesn't apply to you. It applies to congressional members, not to staff. And so staff, you're busted. And they should all be charged so that they can use them as leverage against the big fish. There has been some dissent among congressional members with regard to Russia. In fact, Jim Himes from Connecticut, he asked Schiff, he said, Pencil, you really think based on the documents you've seen, do you think there's enough evidence for a conviction? Pencil said, probably not. Okay, well, is there enough evidence for impeachment? Schiff said, probably not. Did it anyways. In the last year leading up to the election, this person brought a new staffer to the committee. And this person traveled extensively with this person and for all intents and purposes functioned as his aide. Blank gave someone access to classified info, even though Blank was not cleared for that. And on one occasion, this person observed this person with a spiral notebook which contained classified code names. Incredible. Then this person asked someone about the code name and said, is that like classified documents you're walking around the cafeteria with? Oh, that? No big deal, just my notes. Took the book and left. This person opined, well, someone liked and wanted to mentor this person. He also wanted someone to reach back out to get information once the committee. So within 2 weeks of someone leaving the committee for the private industry, he wrote an article on cyber and 702 authority. The staff saw the article and were talking about it when this person said he had talked with someone else a couple of days prior to the article being published and helped someone with the article. So then this other person counseled this person on the contact due to this person being a 1-year timeout from contacting any member or staff. Now, someone else spelled out 3 potential pathways for the leaks. And so this is mirroring a lot of what we've already talked about in the prior report, but he sits on Russian briefings. This person sits on the briefings after the Russian team reads the documents at the FBI or the CIA. It's likely that he tells this person what he learned, and then that person takes it to the media. Or number 2, another way. This woman who we've learned about, she is married to a reporter for the Baltimore Sun. Now, supposedly, he does not do any intelligence reporting. However, he had a job lined up at the online news site Politico that subsequently fell through. This person's spouse has worked with Ellen Nakashima of the Washington Post, he's currently pursuing reporting jobs in D.C. as they live in Capitol Hill. He does not like the commute to Baltimore. This person opined that someone else provided information to her husband, who had brokered it out to other reporters, okay? And it's just one big incestuous family over there. And they're all now still married and working together with Hillary staffers. He has been in contact, this other person, with a woman reporter at The Intercept. He's been working with her and being frustrated that she changed the story and did not do as he told her to do, okay? Well, I told you to report it this way. And she's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So then B, this person also appears to be close with Dan from NBC, Dan LNU, who calls the office on a regular basis. Dan's in trouble too. If he's around and takes Dan's calls, he does. Finally, this person also provides information that he got as part of the Russian team to this person who should not be getting that info because they are not cleared. And so this other person advised, it is likely the leaks are being conducted through cutouts. Some individuals may be using their spouse's phones. This person noted that this other person has made calls from Schiff's office, thereby having some cover for his activities. The chief of staff is also aware of the leaks. She is smart enough to never be a source, but would do anything to defend Schiff. The staff believes Schiff will eventually be senator or president, oh my gosh, or in jail, and plan to ride his coattails for better career opportunities. Now, on July 31st, 2 FBI agents were on the Hill conducting a background investigation with this person. This person appeared shook up after the interview. On August 2017, this other person took 2 attorneys into their office, and upon their departure, this other person overheard this person state, if they try that, it's going to be worse than Watergate. Now, this person did not go to the FBI Congressional liaison personnel with this info because he believes they're too embedded with the staff and cannot trust them to do the right thing. Rather, he approached trusted contact at the office of the Inspector General and said, I'll talk with them further about it. And of course, they buried all of it. So we didn't hear any of this. It's really disgusting. So this poor person is trying to do the right thing. The Congress is disgusting and corrupt. And so they're just shut up, get out of the office. Then he goes to the office of the Inspector General. So I can't really do much about it. You go to the FBI. FBI's in on it. Okay. They hate Trump too. Meanwhile, they've got Strzok, McCabe, Comey, all facilitating and covering this up. Our government is so rotten. It's really hard to even comprehend how this happened.